धीमहि यो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य शिव शिव शम्भो हरिनाम शिवनाम नटराजा ॐ शिव 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 शम्भो हरिनाम शिवनाम नटराजा सोम सुन्दर शिव शङ्करने सोम सुन्दर शिव शङ्करने शिव चिदम्बरने ॐ नमो नमः शिव चिदम्बरने ॐ नमो नमः ॐ शिव 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 शम्भो हरिनाम शिवनाम नटराजा ॐ शिव 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 शम्भो हरिनाम शिवनाम नटराजा करुणाकरने परमा शिवने करुणाकरने परमा शिवने आण्डवने ॐ नमो नमः आण्डवने ॐ नमो नमः ॐ शिव 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 शम्भो हरिनाम शिवनाम नटराजा ॐ शिव 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 शम्भो हरिनाम शिवनाम नटराजा सोम सुन्दरने शिव शङ्करने सोम सुन्दरने शिव शङ्करने शिव चिदम्बरने ॐ नमो नमः शिव चिदम्बरने ॐ नमो नमः ॐ शिव 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 शम्भो हरिनाम शिवनाम नटराजा ॐ शिव 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 शम्भो हरिनाम शिवनाम नटराजा करुणाकरने परमा शिवने करुणाकरने परमा शिवने आण्डवने ॐ नमो नमः आण्डवने ॐ नमो नमः ॐ शिव 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 शम्भो हरिनाम शिवनाम नटराजा ॐ शिव 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 शम्भो हरिनाम शिवनाम नटराजा हरिनाम शिवनाम नटराजा हरिनाम शिवनाम नटराजा हरिनाम शिवनाम नटराजा ॐ श्री राम कृष्ण भगवान की जय। तमे माया दया हो तमारो दयो नंदलाला आओ आओ कन्हैया तारा तमे माया दया हो तमारो दयो नंदलाला आओ आओ कन्हैया तारा वो तो जब तो तुम्हारी माला कर तो निश दिन काला वाला वो तो जब तो तुम्हारी माला कर तो निश दिन काला वाला वाला बेगे आवो मारे मन रे भावो नंदलाला आओ आओ कन्हैया तारा तमे माया दया हो तमारो दयो नंदलाला आओ आओ कन्हैया तारा वो तो बात लड़ी तारी जो तो मारा तारे गाय छे जीनी नंदलाला। आओ आओ कन्हैया तारा, તમે મારા થયા હું તમારો થયો નંદલાલા। આવો આવો કન્હૈયા તારા, શ્યામ ભક્ત કહે પ્રભુ આવો, આવી હાથ પકડજો મારો। શ્યામ ભક્ત કહે પ્રભુ આવો, આવી હાથ પકડજો મારો। મુખે માંગુ એવું તારે ચરણે રહેવું નંદલાલા। આવો આવો કન્હૈયા તારા, તમે મારા થયા હું તમારો થયો નંદલાલા। આવો આવો કન્હૈયા તારા, આવો આવો કન્હૈયા તારા, આવો આવો કન્હૈયા તારા। ઓમ શ્રી રામ કૃષ્ણ ભગવાન કી જય।
स्वामी जी की जीवन गाथा आओ सब मिल गाए हम। ये है भारत भाग्य विधाता, इनको गले लगाए हम, इनको गले लगाए हम। स्वामी जी की जीवन गाथा आओ सब मिल गाए हम। ये है भारत भाग्य विधाता, इनको गले लगाए हम, इनको गले लगाए हम। भटके पथ पर हम सबको जो राह बताने वाले हैं, ये मानव की मानवता को जाग उठाने वाले हैं, जाग उठाने वाले हैं। भटके पथ पर हम सबको जो राह बताने वाले हैं, ये मानव की मानवता को जाग उठाने वाले हैं, जाग उठाने वाले हैं। स्वामी जी की जीवन गाथा आओ सब मिल गाए हम। ये है भारत भाग्य विधाता, इनको गले लगाए हम, इनको गले लगाए हम। तेरी गाथा भारतवासी अनुदिन गाते रहते हैं। भक्ति ज्ञान के संगम पर हम तुझ में सब मिल जाते हैं। तेरी गाथा भारतवासी अनुदिन गाते रहते हैं। भक्ति ज्ञान के संगम पर हम तुझ में सब मिल जाते हैं। परमहंस के परम शिष्य तुम, भूपर स्वर्ग बसाए हम। विश्व जगत की माला गुण कर गुरु के गले चढ़ाए हम, गुरु के गले चढ़ाए हम। स्वामी जी की जीवन गाथा आओ सब मिल गाए हम। ये है भारत भाग्य विधाता, इनको गले लगाए हम, इनको गले लगाए हम। तुम भारत के आन मान हो, नव जीवन ध्रुवता प्यारे हो, तुम्हारी जय जय बनी रहे, अब हम सब पाव पखारे हैं। तुम भारत के आन मान हो, नव जीवन ध्रुव तारे हो, तुम्हारी जय जय बनी रहे, अब हम सब पाव पखारे हैं। जय हो स्वामी जी की जय जय, परमहंस के प्यारे तुम, जय जय बनी रहे भारत मंदिर के अमर सितारे तुम, 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 मंदिर के अमर सितारे तुम। ओम श्री राम कृष्ण भगवान की जय।
ॐ ऐं सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः। Om Namo Narayanaya. To revered Ishtaprana Mataji, dear sisters, brothers and loving children. Swami Vivekananda, the foremost disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, encouraged many young men to renounce the world and live for God. Monks and nuns of the Ramakrishna Sarada order sacrificed their lives for their own salvation and to serve the living God in humankind. This morning, we shall read about Swami Atmananda from the book entitled Monastic Disciples of Swami Vivekananda. One day, Swami Vivekananda asked his disciples, out of devotion, knowledge, work and meditation, in which will you take honors? Some selected devotion, another wanted double honors in knowledge and devotion. Some selected 3 out of the 4. However, only one disciple remained quiet. When a brother disciple repeated the question for him, Swamiji himself responded on his behalf. He is good in all 4. This disciple was Swami Atmananda. Swami Atmananda's pre-monastic name was Govinda Prasad Shukul, so he was fondly referred to as Shukul Maharaj. He was born in the village of Devipur and was brought up by his uncle Guru Prasad, who greatly influenced his character. Guru Prasad was the head priest of the temple in the Malda district. He loved his nephew Govinda and took charge of his education and training. Govinda assisted his uncle in daily worship at the temple and he studied holy books. Thus, he was different from other boys of his age. He had a good temperament and a sweet nature, and he stood out amongst his classmates. In 1890, Govinda passed his college entrance examination and was awarded a government scholarship for his brilliant success. In accordance with the then prevalent custom of child marriage, he was married to Brahmamahi Devi at an early age. He then moved to Kolkata for his college education. It was here that a new chapter in his life opened. He came in contact with a group of like-minded religious students who later became disciples of Swami Vivekananda. In the company of these young men, he visited Baranago Monastery and Dakshineshwar, where he met devotees of Sri Ramakrishna such as Mahendranath Gupta, Ramachandra Datta and Girish Ghosh, all of whom inspired him in his religious pursuits. Mahendranath Gupta, the recorder of the Gospel, directed him to the Baranago Monastery, where the monastic disciples of Sri Ramakrishna lived. The burning desire for renunciation and intense longing for God realization demonstrated by these monks attracted Govinda greatly. Govinda was blessed to be initiated by Sri Sarada Devi, the Holy Mother, while he was at college. He would go to the Dakshineshwar Kali temple and stay there for a few days to practice japa and meditation. He often visited the Alambaza monastery to receive spiritual guidance and inspiration from Swami Ramakrishnananda, a disciple of the Master. Govinda's family tried their best to bring him back home, but to no avail. Through his sincere renunciation, he stayed at the monastery and arranged for his wife to be initiated by Holy Mother. Brahma Mahi Devi lived long and led a pure life devoted to prayer and worship. From his childhood, Govinda had a weak body and suffered from dyspepsia or painful indigestion. He therefore believed that his body was unfit for intense spiritual practices. One day, Swami Vivekananda asked him, "Shukul, have you come here to be a monk?" Govinda at once replied, "Sir, I have neither a strong body nor a fit mind to become a monk. If I can sacrifice this body and mind in your service, then I believe I shall attain a better body and mind in my next birth. I have come here only with this faith." Shortly after this, Swami Vivekananda blessed Govinda by granting him monastic vows and named him Swami Atmananda. Having the good fortune of serving and living in the company of his master, Swami Atmananda tried all the more to dive deep within himself through meditation and scriptural study. He did not, however, simply remain absorbed in meditation. For one's own liberation and for the good of the world was the ideal set before him by his master. He was as devoted to serving people by seeing God in them as he was to spiritual practices. In 1899, when the city of Kolkata was reeling under the plague epidemic, Swami Atmananda rendered memorable service in the relief work organized by Swamiji himself. Along with Sister Nivedita, Swami Atmananda very ably assisted Swami Sadananda, who was in charge of the relief operations. Towards the end of 1900, Swami Atmananda was sent to Kishangarh to help Swami Kalyanananda in the work of drought relief. Here also he discharged his duties with great enthusiasm and dedication. Swami Atmananda had unflinching devotion to Swamiji. He used to say that the most precious treasure of a monk's life is faith in the words of his Guru and the scriptures. Of the two, he would say, faith in the Guru's words is more important. One day, Swami Vivekananda was singing devotional songs. Suddenly, he said to Swami Atmananda, "Shukul, play the drums." Swami Atmananda nervously replied, "I do not know how to play them." Swamiji looked at him affectionately and said, "What do you mean by saying I do not know? Learn to play them." Swami Atmananda started taking lessons on the tabla, and soon he became an expert player. Later, he accompanied Swamiji on the tabla when Swamiji sang. Swami Atmananda's love for spiritual study and his meditative nature endeared him to Swamiji. His exposition of the Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishads, and the Brahma Sutras were not only scholarly but also inspiring. This was why Swamiji himself asked him to teach the scriptures to other monastics. Even after Swami Vivekananda had passed on, Swami Atmananda felt his presence. One day, he disclosed a very personal experience. "I directly perceived Swamiji the other day," he said. "He who is the creator, preserver, and the destroyer of the world was standing before me." He would be overwhelmed with joy at the very mention of Swamiji's name. He would say, "Swamiji was a part of Lord Shiva," or "Such a great teacher has never been born." Swami Atmananda would always keep his bed clean and tidy with a clean sheet spread on it. On being asked the reason for this, he would say, "Occasionally Swamiji used to lie on my bed in Belur Math. After his passing away, I saw in a dream that he was lying on my bed. Since then, I always keep the bed ready, for I do not know when he will come again." On the 7th of May 1903, Swami Atmananda was elected trustee of the Ramakrishna Mission. He took charge of the ashram in Bangalore where he worked tirelessly. Unfortunately, his health deteriorated under the strain of work and he left Bangalore in 1909. In 1910, he had the good fortune of accompanying Holy Mother on pilgrimage and returned to Belur Math with her. Swami Atmananda was deeply devoted to Holy Mother. Once, during Durga Puja, he prepared milk pudding. Offering the pudding before Mother's picture, he wept bitterly, saying this, "Thank you, Mother. You have made me a monk. How else can I worship you?" Swami Atmananda spent his last months at the Ramakrishna Mission Home of Service in Varanasi. Here he maintained his austere lifestyle and kept a watchful eye on the conduct of the monastics. He would remind them of the dangers of getting lost in worldly work and idle gossip. While at Varanasi, Swami Atmananda became very ill. All thought it was a bout of the common flu, but Swami Atmananda said, "Swamiji is calling me. Mine is no ordinary fever." This proved to be true, and his fever gradually turned into pneumonia. Even on his deathbed, Swami Atmananda maintained his strong spirit of renunciation, and he was a true sannyasi. His bedding comprised an old coarse cotton carpet, a towel, a pillow, and a sheet to cover. Swami Atmananda passed away on Friday, the 12th of October, 1923. Swami Akhandananda, a direct disciple of the Master, chanted the holy names of God in a loud voice as Swami Atmananda left his body. Swami Shuddhananda wrote a letter to Swami Shivananda giving details of Swami Atmananda's last days. Here is an extract from his letter. Our dear friend and brother disciple Shukul Maharaj left us yesterday for his eternal abode. This morning, we consigned his mortal body decorated with flowers and garlands to the holy waters of the Ganga. After hearing everything, Swami Shivananda remarked, "Shukul Maharaj was a great soul." Swami Bodhananda from New York paid this tribute to Swami Atmananda. He wrote, "His divine countenance remains fresh in my memory. I offer my salutations to him. His holy life remains a glowing example for us all to follow. It is like a pole star to those who tread the path of religion. May the lives of great saints encourage and inspire us Godward. Aum Namo Narayanaya."
Anjneyaya vidmahe Vayuputraya dhimahi Tanno Hanuman prachodayat. Om Shri Hanumate Namaha. Doha Shri Guru Charan Saroj Raja Nij Man Mukur Sudhar Varano Raghuvar Vimala Yasha Jodayaka Palachar Buddhihina Tanu Janike Sumiro Pavan Kumar Bala Buddhi Vidya Devo Mohi Harahu Ganesh Vikas Syamara Ramachandra Ki Jai Pavan Sutta Hanuman Ki Jai Shri Ambe Ambe Mata Ki Jai. Chaupai Jai Hanuman Jnana Guna Sagar Jai Kapish Tihu Loka Ujagar Ramaduta Turita Baladhava Anjani Putra Pavan Sutta
वरन विराज सुवेशा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केशा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन चिंतामन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सिया दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाए संजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्ष उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरत सम भाई सहस बदन तुम्हरो यश गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीषा नारद शारद सहित अहिषा यम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा राम मिलाए राजपद दीन्हा तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना युग सहस्र योजन पर भानो लील्योताहि मधुर फल जानो प्रभु मोद्रिका मिलि मुख माहि जलधि रामि जय अचरज नाहि दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिना पैसारे सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी शरणा तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपने तेज समारो आपे तीनों लोक हाथ के कापे भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे नाशे रोग हरे सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा संकट से हनुमान छुड़ावे मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे शाश्वत जीवन फल पावे चारों युग परताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर कंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नवनिधि के दाता असवर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को भावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे अंत काल से सर्व सुख करही, संकट हरे मीटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई। जो शतवार पाठ कर कोई, छूटे बंदी महासुख होई। जोया परे हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीशा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, कीजय नाथ हृदय महादेवा। कीजय नाथ हृदय महादेवा। दोहा
पवन तनय संकट हरण, मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसहु सुरभूप। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। श्री अम्बे अम्बे मात की जय।
Om Namo Narayanaya, dear sisters and brothers. Let us sit quietly and try to calm the restless mind. Swami Vivekananda is the embodiment of strength. Today, we require strength to face our difficult challenges. Swamiji says, strength is life. Let strong, positive thoughts fill your mind from very childhood. All power is within you. You can do anything and everything. May Swamiji's life and teachings inspire us and strengthen us. May they give us the courage to face our challenges. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
ॐ सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु, सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु, सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु, सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु। सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते, पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरि ओम तत्सत्।
जय श्री गुरु महाराज की जय, महामाई की जय, स्वामी जी महाराज की जय, गंगा मात की जय, महावीर स्वामी जी की जय, सर्व ऋषि मुनियों की जय। पार्वती पतये हर हर मा